Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're going to conduct a mindset training regarding how we spend money. So I think this is very simple yet powerful. And in my world, right, with regards to spending money, there's two types of people. There's rich people and then there's cheap people, right? AKA poor people, even though I don't want to use that word for the purposes of today's video. So, what is a rich person, or what makes a rich person different from a cheap person? Rich people are always looking to spend money in exchange for value, right? Whereas poor people are the opposite, or cheap people. I'm sorry, I don't want to use the word poor people for this video, but cheap people are the opposite because they're always looking to save money because they see everything as a cost, right? So why am I talking about this? Because one of the things that's really important when succeeding in business and life is that you're going to have to build a team. And in order to build a team, you're going to have to spend money, right? Now, you don't have to have an elaborate team, but you are going to have to spend money. And one of the biggest problems that a lot of people have is they want goods and services from other people, external vendors, but they don't want to pay for them. It is the most bizarre thing. You ever deal with people who get offended that you're actually asking for money for goods and services? I know I certainly encountered that when I have to deal with prospective tenants. Like, oh my goodness, you want 2050 for rent? I'm like, that's the market rate. That's what people are paying for. But once in a while, you'll deal with that type of people because people think like they should be able to get stuff for free and not pay for it and then wonder why nobody wants to do business with them. So, the thing that I'm trying to prevent is that I want actually um, people to do business with you, right? Or let me actually rephrase this. The thing I want for you is to people to do business with you. But what's going to prevent that is that if you're cheap and are not willing to pay people, all you're going to do is have a revolving door of people who do a terrible job, and you as a business owner are going to be so tired from dealing with the revolving door of people, or it's not even related to business. This is just life in general, right? You're going to have to deal with a revolving door of people who do a terrible job and then wonder why things don't get done and why you're still poor slash cheap, right? And so, I'm just going to give you a real life example of how we build team members. And the easiest way to build team members, right? They don't have to be direct employees of yours, they can be independent contractors, is to pay them immediately, right? Pay them immediately. So I know with regards to myself, I always feel this negative energy when people act like they're suspicious of me when I say, "Hey, here's money. Here's a good or service, give me money," right? Like it's the basic fundamental of how an economy works, right? Give me money, I provide good or service. And people are like, "Wow, you need money? Like that's very suspicious. It should be free." And and then we wonder like why, let's say in certain areas people don't want to do business anymore because that's the mentality, aka San Francisco, right? Like you ever look up the news about how Whole Foods could even like succeed in downtown San Francisco in their prime real estate space because that's the mentality of certain areas, and we have to do the opposite of that if we want access to other people's services and resources. And so, one of the most important things as a business owner is that you can't be cheap, right? In order to grow and maintain your business, eventually you will have to have team members. Now, these team members aren't going to be there for you 24/7, especially when you're starting out. But one of the things that you want is that when you make a phone call, they actually pick up because if they get the sense like this guy's not going to pay me, what you're going to get is essentially like one of those contractors on YouTube who did all the work, and then the customer is nitpicking and complaining, and the contractor realizes, hey, I'm not going to get paid, and they start to destroy their own work. And that's kind of where we're at as a society. Isn't that sad? Like that's really sad. And I'm going to show you again very simple training of how to prevent this. And the easiest way to prevent this is to actually pay people, right? Pay people And not only that, pay them really, really, really quickly. Really quickly. And the problem is that most people try they try to get goods and services from other people and they don't try to pay them. It's this weird thing about like, hey, I want all this stuff from I just want to take and I don't want to give you anything and I'm hoping that we're gonna have a long lasting relationship. And I don't know about you, but I've never seen that work ever in anything, not just in business, but in life in general, right? And that's why everything is an exchange. It's not an equal exchange, but there's an exchange of value. And so here's a real life example of me just kind of practicing what I preach. And I've told this story before in another video. Um, my tenant told me that the roof of the house is leaking, right? And so what I did is I sent a handyman to kind of look at it. And I've worked with this handyman before, and he's pretty good. And what he did is he looked at it, and it was raining, right? It had been raining a lot in the summer in Georgia for some reason. And he looked at it and he was like, well, I can't really tell what the source of the leak is, right? And he called me and he was like, yeah, I'll probably just come back another day when it's raining again. And, um, and then it'll be much easier to spot the source of the leak. And then I said, okay, well, here's the thing. Can you send your invoice now so I can pay you for your time? And again, it's not him chasing me to get the money. I'm just like, all right, well, cool. Let's get you paid, right? And then you know what happens a couple hours later? He gives me another call and says, hey, can I look at the leak again? And I said, sure. Yeah, go to the house and take a look. And then he magically fixes the problem in like an hour. Like so, he when he originally went to the house, he's like, "Oh, I don't know what the actual problem is, source of the leak. I need it to rain again." And then when I just say, "Hey, I'm gonna pay you now, so give me your invoice, even if you didn't do anything." Now he's thinking in his mind, "Holy balls, I gotta fix the problem, and I can make more money, right, for the day." And he did. And I did pay him more money. But the thing is, I paid more money in exchange for value, which is not having a leaking roof, because I'm thinking 3 steps ahead, right? If my tenant complains about the roof and then the roof keeps leaking and then let's say there's a mold problem or something, then tenant's going to move out and I'm not going to have rental income anymore, right? And also, if I don't fix the problem permanently, aka get a new roof later on down the road, then my house is eventually going to be destroyed, right? So little problems like leaks eventually multiply into big problems, which is you won't have a paying tenant or a good tenant who's going to stay at your house in order to give you that monthly rent. And because you're short-sighted and you don't want to pay for repairs or maintenance, that's going to cause a chain of problems, a lot of problems along the road, right? And so I'm going to show you this text exchange where it's 7:23 the handyman says, hey, I'm getting ready to send the invoice. 7:39 invoice sent, thank you. 7:39, okay, great, I'll check email right now, just paid, thank you. I literally paid him the moment that he sent the text. Why? Because I'm if I pay him immediately and I need him again, guess what? 99% chance he's going to take my phone call and he's going to be like, wow, I felt really good working with this person, right? I felt really good working with this person. Therefore, when he calls me again, I'm going to do the job. And I know for a lot of people, when they hire contractors, for some reason, they just can't get them to do the work. Contractors, handymen, third party vendors, services. And that's because you're probably not trying to pay them, right? And again, you always have to have risk mitigation as well. I talk about this in other videos where, if you give someone a $500 job and or let's say you don't know a person, you're doing business with them for the first time, give them a small job first, and then even if they do the worst job ever, pay them and never use them again, right? Or maybe give them constructive feedback if they really suck at what it is that they do. But my point is, you have to kind of think like a bank. Like if a bank doesn't have a relationship with you and you try to get a $20,000 credit card, they'll tell you buzz off, right? But they might give you a $500 credit card, and if you use that well, they might start increasing your credit limits. That's how we have to think of how we spend money with other people, with third-party vendors, services. Wow, I'm gonna spend $10 here to see if the product is good. Ooh, the product is pretty good, right? Now I'm gonna spend $200. Oh, wow, that was really good. Then 1,000 or 2,000. That's the way that I think about spending money. But the most important thing is that when we do want other people's goods and services, because again, business and life is not a solo sport, it's a team sport, and there are going to be other people in your team who are going to have skills that you don't. And but the most important thing is when we engage with these people, that we actually pay them. Because as rich people, we're looking to spend money in exchange for value. Whereas poor people, aka cheap people, are not. They're always suspicious of everything. Ever notice that? You look at that Jack Ma quote about poor people, the more that I guess the older I'm getting, it's like, man, I'm just turning into Jack Ma. Although I'm probably not going to be an Alibaba billionaire. But but it's always important that we look to use our money to pay for things in exchange for value, and also give our third party vendors and contractors good vibes about us spending money on them. Because look at right here. Once I paid them immediately, thank you, always at your service. Thank you. That's what you want. People who are excited to work with you. But for most people, when they try to get people to work for them, it's like herding cats, and then they wonder why they get frustrated. Can't ever cheap out on people. You actually have to pay them. But most people are cheap people. And you know how I know this? Every time you go to the supermarket, everything is on sale. Everything is on sale at the supermarket. It doesn't matter if things were more expensive 4 to 5 years ago. Everything is on sale. Everything. Doesn't matter what it is, because the supermarkets know that most people are cheap people. Like, they're looking not to spend money. That's their mentality. And of course, they're playing the retail stores are playing psychological tricks with the consumers. And that's why things that are more expensive today than 4 years ago are quote on sale. But that's a discussion for another topic. But yes, moral of the story today: rich people see value, cheap people see cost. Be a rich person, don't be a cheap person, right? That's how you're going to, quote, grow. I don't even know why I use quotes, but that's how you're going to grow in business and in life, all right? All right, well, this is Korean Atlanta Mentorship. Have a great day, and we'll speak next time.